Hey, what's going on, everybody? Caleb here again. I wanted to make a different kind of video today. I wanted to make a video discussing Griffith from Berserk's decision that he made, which was effectively the end of part one to this series. If you haven't seen Berserk or read it, big, huge, massive spoilers, the biggest spoiler in the whole series, so stop watching right now. In order to really understand Griffith's decision, you have to know what the situation is. And so in order to do that, I'm going to give a very brief summary of this. So basically it starts out, this guy Guts, the big guy, he's living on his own. He's a merc. He never had a family or parents or anything like that. He kind of had a father figure, but he was really more of a dick than a dad. Anyways, so he's on his own. Eventually he runs into this group called the Band of the Hawk, led by Griffith, the guy with the white hair. Griffith says, join me. Guts says, nah. They fight. Guts loses. As agreement, he has to join the Band of the Hawk. He quickly finds a family among the Band of the Hawk. Alright, now fast forward a bit. Griffith has made a big name for himself and the Band of the Hawk. He's been knighted or made a noble, basically, which effectively pissed a lot of people off, namely the queen, because she doesn't think some commoner should become a noble, and so she plans an assassination attempt out on Griffith. Now that assassination attempt fails, and so Griffith has his own counter-assassination, basically, where he has Guts take out the queen. He kills the queen and he kills a few other people. And then I believe, if I remember right, he even kills like some kid who saw something that he wasn't supposed to see and something like that. So anyways, main thing is the queen is dead and the king is very upset about this and very lonely, we'll say. Now after Guts kills the queen, he tells Griffith that he wants to leave the Band of the Hawk. He says, I want to go, I want to find my own way. It's nothing personal. It's just time for me to make a change. I want to see the world. I want to do other things. And Griffith says, no, you're not leaving. You're under my employ, basically. And he says, but if you can beat me in a fight, then you can leave. And that's exactly what Guts does. Beats Griffith in a fight. And takes off. Something about Guts leaving really messed with Griffith and made him just kind of snap. I'm not totally sure what it was. It could be the fact that Guts was maybe his only true friend or something like that. But Griffith goes to see the princess that night, and he proceeds to do some premarital things with her. And see, this is where the anime and the manga are different, because the anime cuts out extremely important parts of the story. So, the princess is a minor at this point, and so when Griffith does this, and if you're just watching the anime, you're unaware, but the king is actually doing these same things to his daughter, because remember I said before, he's very lonely now that his queen is dead, and his daughter looks so much like his wife, he figures, I'm the king, you know, I do what I want. So yeah. Now, as Griffith is leaving in the morning, he winds up captured by the king's armies, and this is where the story really takes a turn for the darker and the more sinister. I mean, it's been dark and sinister up to this point, don't get me wrong, but this is where things really start to go down into the depths of depravity. Okay, now Guts has been gone for a year at this point, and after the king captured Griffith, the king sent pretty much his entire army to wipe out the Band of the Hawk, and a lot of them were killed. And so what few members of the Hawk are remaining are rallying under Casca, who is Griffith's number 2, and also Guts' quote-unquote lover. They had kind of a fling at one point in time, and their relationship is kind of like a one-night stand, but a little bit more than that. Anyways, so when Guts comes back, he tells her, he's like, yeah, I'll help you rescue Griffith. He's my friend, you know. I'm leaving, though, after that. And Casca says, okay, I want to go with you, though. And, you know, he thinks about it for a minute, and he decides, okay, that's fine. You can come with me. And they're going to start their lives together after they rescue Griffith. Now, when they find Griffith in the prison, he is not in good shape. From what I remember based off memory, his tongue is cut out, his tendons in his arms and legs are either cut or broken in some way. He can't walk on his own. He can't lift his arm hardly. He can a little bit, but not really. And his helmet is welded on his head. He's extremely skinny and emancipated, and yeah. So Griffiths is, in a sense, more or less a vegetable at this point, or a doll. He can't do anything. If they killed every guard and they said, "Hey, Griffith, let's go," he couldn't do it. I mean, just look at the guy. He's done. He a doll now, son. This is also the point in the story where demons start appearing in the world. Now, demons were mentioned before, not so much mentioned as there was one demon before that they fought. It went by the name of Zod. And so up until this point, you don't really know what the story is with that. But as the eclipse is growing nearer and nearer, the demons are showing up more frequently in the world of the living. Now, before they get back to camp with Griffith, in the manga, the king sends his, we'll call them a dog demon, out after them, which is a human, it's a demon, but it's in a human form. It's very violent. It's very sexual demon and all this stuff. And it's actually a really, really cool fight to watch. And you should read the manga instead of watch the anime. Anyways, so they get back to camp and they can see that Griffith is done. He's never going to lead an army again. They can see that. And so they're all kind of like having a breakdown. Now, as all this is happening in the camp, Griffith is observing Casca and Guts. And I don't know if this is so much what pushed him to make his decision, but it probably wasn't easy for him to see these two people who were at one point weaker than him, and now he can't do anything. And, you know, Guts wants to leave and Casca wants to go with him, and he can see that they're in love with each other. And I think it was just probably a very difficult situation for him to be in, something very difficult for him to see. And Casca knows he can't do anything on his own, that someone's going to have to take care of him. And it's not like today where you can go and you can get surgeries and you can get prosthetics, you can get, special gene surgery, cell surgery, whatever it is. They don't have that luxury. This is back in the medieval days. So he's stuck as he is until he dies. He can't even take his own if he wants to. And he's remembering how incredible of a warrior he was in the past, how wonderful of a leader he was. He was more or less going to be the next king until certain things happened. So Griffith basically has a panic attack, steals the carriage and leaves. He uses his teeth because he can't really use his arms, so somehow he hoists himself up, makes the horses go, and steers them with his teeth. But he crashes it, obviously, and then he kind of goes insane, and eventually he cries, and he cries after he does that, and his tear touches his balet, which is his necklace. Now let me explain that real quick. His balet is a necklace given to him by some old lady. I haven't finished the manga yet, so I don't really know if it's ever addressed who that person was. But she gave him this necklace that's red, and that means he's going to be the king of the demons, but that's not known until right now. And when he cries on it, the balet wakes up and summons the 4 god hands, or the 4 demon kings. So then the band of hawks show up right as the eclipse happens, and maybe it's not a tear that triggered the balet, maybe it was his blood, but something triggered it. Anyways, so the band of hawks shows up right as the eclipse is happening, and then the 4 god hands appear and they start talking with Griffith. Now, what the 4 god hands tell him is, if you sacrifice everybody here right now, the entire band of the hawk, then you will become one of us. And originally, Griffith doesn't want to do it. Originally, he's like, oh, I couldn't ever do that. These people are my friends. They've been with me through so much. There's no way I could do this. The God Hands convince him to do this, and also he realizes that his life will never be the same again. It's either kill everybody in his band, all of his friends, all the people who look up to him, his followers, kill all of them, and live a somewhat normal life again. Not only that, but be a much more powerful being than you were before. Or live out your life as someone who can't do anything for himself, someone who can't talk, eat, move, drink, go to the bathroom. Someone who is essentially just a doll with a soul in it. Needless to say, we wouldn't have a show or a story if Griffith did not choose to sacrifice everybody he ever cared about. And that is exactly what happens. And it's an incredibly violent and cool scene, because Guts is climbing up, trying to stop them and save Griffith, who's in this kind of sphere thing as he's transforming. Meanwhile, Guts is watching all of his friends and comrades be devoured by demons, ripped apart, all this stuff. And I'll be honest with you, I wasn't really liking this series until this part. Like, this is about 25 episodes in, and I was like wondering, I was like, so what's the big deal with Berserk? Why does everybody like it? Why is it so popular? And then this happened, and I was like, oh my god. And so after this mass sacrifice happens, that's when the rest of the story takes place. The follow-up anime was, like, the animation just bugged me. I couldn't watch it, so I recommend reading the manga. Alright, now fast forward a bit to the end of this, and you see Griffith, who is now in his new demon form, and he is now known as Pharaoh. And he looks pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. He looks fucking badass. And the thing he does next, though, is just like, what he did up until this point was fucked up, but the thing he does next is really fucked up. And like, I can't even show it to you because YouTube will remove the video. But basically what he does is he takes Guts' girl, whom Guts loves, and he has his sexual way with her. And meanwhile, big ol' Guts has lost an arm and is now watching as one of his eyes is being gouged out, and his best friend is on the woman he loves. Now, I don't make this video to defend Griffith and what he did. What he did was really, really messed up, and he should absolutely be killed. Like, if you watch your best friend have his way with you, the woman you love, and you don't want to kill him, you have a problem. But you gotta remember, the position Griffith was in was, he had no choice almost. You always have a choice, but his other choice was to live in complete and total misery, if you can even call that living, because the position he was in was just so bad. And sadly, the creator of Berserk passed away. Reading the manga after this, I could tell he had really huge plans for this series. And, you know, some of the stuff, like, I feel like he just scratched the surface of what he was going to do with this. Because some of the stuff, like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Like Guts, he finds some new friends beyond the Band of the Hawk. He goes solo for a while, living in this incredible depression. And, oh, by the way, demons are always after him now because he has that braid on his neck. But eventually he finds new friends. He gets a more stronger sword. He gets a set of armor. He befriends a witch. And then there's some other stuff that happens. And his goal is obviously to kill the 5 God Hands, namely Griffith, now Pharaoh. And I haven't read all the way to the end, so I don't know exactly how it goes. And please don't spoil it in the comments below for me. But it was really, really good from up until the point where I read. Yeah. That's really all I have to say on this. This is something I've been thinking about making for a while. I'm sure I'm like 150 years too late, and there's like 700 anime exclusive YouTube channels that have already made a video discussing Griffiths Decision and what he did and how he had no choice, but I wanted to make my own just because that's what I do. But yeah, anyways, that's the end of this video, guys. If you like this video, you can hit the thumbs up. Doesn't hurt to do that. I probably won't make more stuff like this in the future just because unless it's something I'm really passionate about in the anime world, I'm probably not going to make a video on it. But yeah, anyways, let me know down below what you think, what you thought when you were first watching or reading this. If you immediately were like, oh, Griffith, you're such a horrible person, or if you were like, oh, wow, that dude was fucked. Either way, he was in a bad spot. But yeah, anyways, guys, that's it. That's all I got to say. Have a great day.